close my eyes and colors fly. There's no hiding from your grace. I can't deny your heart for mine.
Hey guys, welcome back to Kids Church Online, or some of you may be joining us in person at the church and watching this all together. Well, whether you're at home or in the church, we're continuing our series Game Plan, where we are learning how we always do best when we follow God's plans for our lives. So have you ever been to the store and seen the generic items sometimes? The cheap knockoffs, the cheap versions of a real product? Maybe we've even gotten them before. They look really similar on the outside, but they break really easily. They don't last very long. They're not as good as the real product. Have you ever had experience with some of those? Well, the world tries to provide a cheap knockoff of the real life that God has planned for us. Sin, fame, money, all these things are dangled in front of us, and we're told that these things will bring us happiness. They'll bring us pleasure and exciting life. But without Jesus, it's no life at all. Before we get into our lesson, I want you to watch as Todd learns a pretty important lesson from a verse that teaches us all about God's game plan for our lives. Let's watch.
Good morning to you, my friend Todd. I am happy today. Check this out. I just got an email from my good buddy, Nikhil O'Sheal. He has to do an orange juice commercial, dress up like a grandma, and get shot out of a cannon. It's hilarious. What's the matter, Todd? You're looking kind of glum today.
Well, the team captain, Ryan, has been making fun of me a lot lately, and everyone's been laughing at me. If Ryan wasn't so mean to me, then I'd feel a lot better.
Well, as you and I both know, that's a very good reason you didn't make the team.
It wasn't my fault I didn't make the team. I tried to find my good luck charm to bring to tryouts, but I couldn't find it.
What was your good luck charm?
My lucky parrot.
Your lucky parrot?
Yeah, his name's Petey.
Well, Petey ain't here, so forget about it.
Oh, great. Ryan's here.
Ryan is a little girl?
Yeah? So?
You mean to tell me that you, a nearly grown man, are scared out of your mind out of a weak, pathetic little girl? A mean little girl? Why don't you leave him alone, little girl? How is this happening? Where did that ball come from?
Why don't you leave us alone, Ryan?
What's the matter, Todd? You want me to call you a ambulance?
Why don't you leave me alone? I'm trying to work on my skills so I can make the team.
You'll never get on the team.
The only reason I didn't make it was because I couldn't find my lucky parrot that day.
Oh, you mean this parrot?
Hey, that's mine! Ow! It's no use. She's never gonna give me back Petey, and I'm never gonna make the team. I might as well just quit.
Hey, that is no way to talk, all right? You know what? This reminds me of a pretty awesome promise that God makes for us in the Bible.
Oh yeah? What's that?
John 10:10 says that the thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy.
Well, that is certainly not encouraging.
Well, listen to the end of the verse. God said the thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life.
A rich and satisfying life? That sounds good.
Listen, shortstop, I understand that your enemy is trying to steal your joy and your parrot, but forget about it. God will take care of all that, and He's going to give you that rich and satisfying life that the verse talks about. Real life.
That sounds awesome. I would really like that.
Okay, well listen, today's lesson is gonna have a brand new game plan that I think is really gonna help you out. Come with me, okay? Now where did you find that parrot? It smells like cheese.
Our enemy, the devil, does not want what is best for our lives. He wants to steal our joy, to kill our hope, to destroy our dreams. But God promises us life, real life. We're going to learn all about that in our lesson today. But right now, we need to check in with Callie from the Valley as she teaches us what you gotta know.
You
You know I gotta tell you what you gotta know. Tell you what you gotta know. You know I gotta tell you what you gotta know. Tell you what you gotta know.
Hey kids, it's me, Callie from the Valley, and I'm here to tell you what you gotta know. Today, we're talking about how living for Jesus gives us real, satisfying life, okay? So every time today somebody asks you what you gotta know, you tell them. Life without Jesus ain't no life at all. People are always making up lame rules for how we're supposed to live. They don't know. They're rule number 1, don't run inside the building. What if a bear is chasing you inside of school? Rule number 2, don't step on a crack or your mom will need a back surgery or something. Then who will take me to the mall? Rule number 3, don't eat your ice cream too fast or your brain will freeze over and then it'll start snowing in your head. Where's the weatherman when you need him? Okay, living for God is not following a list of totally weird rules. It's all about Jesus and following him. So every time today somebody asks you what you gotta know, you tell them. Life without Jesus ain't no life at all. And that is what you gotta know. I'm Callie from the Valley saying TTYL. Hi, what you gotta know?
Alright, buddy, it's time to get your ducks in a row.
Hi, Megan, you sweat. Look, can you please turn that alarm off so I can hear what you have to say to me and so I can hear myself think?
This is your daily schedule for real life. I planned out every hour of every day for you. I emailed, Facebooked, Insta, Dropbox, and snail-mailed this to you.
How nice. But, I kind of like my schedule the way it is. What made you think to help me out this way?
Well, I heard you talking to all of these kids about how you can have a real life, and I thought that was real sad. So I made a schedule for you to follow. You are welcome, buddy.
Megan, I feel like I kind of have an idea of what God's game plan for real life happens to be. In fact, we're learning about that today in kids' church. I think you might be a little mixed up.
Look! Number 1, make your bed. Number 2, wash your face and brush your teeth. Number 3, always flush the toilet. Number 4...
Megan, these are all good things, but following God doesn't mean following a list. We need Jesus. Following Jesus will give us real life.
Perfect! The perfect game plan for a real life. Follow Jesus.
That's it. And if you ain't got Jesus, you ain't got real life.
Oh, I scheduled bathroom breaks for you. Time to go, buddy.
No thanks. I'm good.
Well, it really is your call, but I wouldn't want you to have an accident in front of all of these awesome kids.
Ew. Changing the subject.
Yogurt! It's so healthy. It made me grow an inch when I stopped growing. You should really get your daily dose of yogurt. And if you aren't already doing so, it's one of your options for your 4 p.m. snack time that I put on your schedule.
Interesting.
And changing the subject. Best clothing for skunk yoga. And go!
Did you just say skunk yoga? As in skunks doing yoga?
Well, yes and no. It's when you do yoga in the forest near a family of skunks.
Megan, I'm pretty sure that's not a real thing or a good idea at all.
Oh, it's real. Real stinky too. I have to throw out my clothes every time I do skunk yoga because the smell won't wash out. So any ideas would be appreciated by me and my housemates.
How about don't do skunk yoga?
I can't just stop. I love me some skunk yoga, buddy. Well, gotta gonna wait forever. Bye!
Bye. Wow, I'm kind of glad she didn't do skunk yoga before she came to visit us. Ew.
Hi, what you gotta know?
Before I spoke a word, you were singing.
Today's Bible story is found in the book of John, chapter 9. Where's it found? So Jesus and his disciples were walking down the road, and they came upon a man who was blind. He had been blind all his life, so he had no way of making a living doing a job, so he spent most of his days begging for money. One of the disciples asked Jesus, "Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" See, the disciples were asking that question because in Jesus' time, a lot of people believed that you were only blind or deaf or lame if you had sinned. And Jesus knew that this wasn't the case, so Jesus answered him, saying, "This happened so the power of God could be seen in him." Jesus knew exactly what the man needed. He needed to experience real life. Jesus knelt down beside the man and spit on the ground. The story's getting a little bit weird, right? Then he began to make some mud with the dirt and the spit, gross, and rubbed it in the man's eyes. Gross. It got a little bit weirder, right? Can you imagine what people were probably thinking as they're watching this? What on earth is Jesus doing? After rubbing the mud in the man's eyes, Jesus told him to go wash his eyes in a nearby pool. The man obeyed Jesus, and what do you think happened? When the mud was off of his eyes, the man could see. Jesus had healed him. He was once blind and he now could see. The man began to celebrate. He was so excited about this new life that he could experience in a way that he never could before. Meanwhile, a group called the Pharisees, who were the religious leaders at the time who made a lot of rules, they saw what happened and they had come along and they had a rule that said you couldn't heal people on the holy day of the Sabbath. And that's what day it was when Jesus healed this man. So they were mad at Jesus because he had healed someone on the holy day. Doesn't that seem crazy? Jesus just healed someone and they were mad about it? And Jesus said to them, "You are more blind than this man was." That's saying something. This man was literally blind. Jesus was telling them that they didn't know what real life was. It's not about the rules that they made up. It's about knowing Jesus and experiencing everything that he has for us. In our lesson today, we're going to learn all about the real life that Jesus offers. It's going to be a good one.
Hi, what you gotta know?
Everyone, my name is Ray Teast, but nobody goes by Ray anymore. It's far too long, so I just shortened it to R. So you can call me R Teast. Now, I've just been working on my latest masterpiece, but I've been working so hard, I really need a break. So I thought that you could help me with today's power verse. See, the problem is I sleepwalk at night. And last night I was painting today's power verse and I started using pictures instead of words. So I need you to help me figure out what it's supposed to say. Let's take a look at it. The thief's dolphin? What? I don't remember there being dolphins in the Bible. Oh, you know what? I bet it's porpoise, another word for dolphin. Which sounds like purpose. Yes, purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My dolphin, oh, no, right, it's purpose, is to present. No, that's not it. Boys and girls, what could that word be? Oh, yes, give them a money. Cash. No, I bet it's rich and satisfying life. John 10:10. That's it! Great job, boys and girls. Now, let's make sure that we don't forget it. So everyone stand up and say it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. John 10:10. Great job, everyone. You can all have a seat. Now, would you like to see what I've been painting today? This one is very special to me because it's a portrait of my dear friend. He's actually my neighbor. He lives right next door to my house in my garden. He's a butterfly. Anyway, he told me one day, he said, I dreamed that one day I could be a businessman. And I said, Mr. Butterfly, you can be whatever you want to be. So this painting is in honor of my friend. I let him follow his dream. In my painting, of course. Here it is, Mr. Butterfly, the businessman. You can do anything you want, Mr. Butterfly. You are amazing. Anyway, thank you all so much for your help today. I'll see you later, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Hi, what you gotta know?
Welcome to our call to action in our series Game Clan. And today we're talking about real life. But before we start, I want to tell you something. I love coffee. I could drink coffee all day. So I was gonna go get a drink of my coffee, but one of my leaders, Corinne, she put her coffee right next to mine. So I have no idea which one is mine. And I'm kind of a snob about coffee. Like, I don't like the fake thing. And so now I have to taste which one of these is my coffee and which one was Corinne's. So I'm just gonna pretend that this one was mine. Ugh. Nope, not mine. That is totally instant coffee. The fake kind of coffee, and I don't even like it. Blech. Well, sometimes it's hard to tell real from fake. Did you know that there are criminals in the world who make fake money? Did you know that? It's called counterfeit money, and it's very hard to tell the difference between real money and counterfeit money. Okay, so I want to see how good you are at figuring it out. So I'm going to show you a slide, and there is going to be a picture of two bills. So go ahead and look at that. See if you can tell which one is real and which one is fake. So I want you to raise your hand if you think the first one is real. Okay, how about the second one? Raise your hand if you think the second one is real. Okay, you ready to see which one is correct? Okay, look at this next picture. How many of you were shocked? Like, oh, I thought that was the real one. But counterfeit money looks real. And it's hard to recognize that. But it's so important that we're able to recognize what is real and what is fake. The world tries its best to make us believe that they know what real life is. They think being involved in sin is fun, but we know that sin leads to death, not life. And sometimes Satan tries to make sin look good and we want to try it, right? Have any of you been there before? I know I have. Things like money, power, fame, they seem like great things to have in life, but they're nothing compared to the real life that Jesus came to give us. Living for God is not following a list of rules. So on the count of 3, I want you to say that with me. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Living for God is not about following a list of rules. It's not just the Pharisees, right? There are even people today who think in order to be a Christian, you have to dress a certain way, or maybe do your hair a certain way, or like only one kind of music, whatever. So they have a list of rules. If I follow them, guess what? I can be a Christian. And they try to earn God's love by following a bunch of rules that they made up, right? And if you follow their rules, then you can be in the Christian club, right? And if you don't, then you can't. And of course, we know that God's game plan, it's not just to give us a list of rules to follow. He sent his son Jesus to earth in order to provide forgiveness of sin so that we could be in relationship with him, right? Okay? Jesus knew that it isn't about rules, it's about relationships. And so some of you might be sitting there, well, but Pastor Jolene, sometimes I do things like I lie to my parents. And so I can't be a Christian because I lie. Or I cheated on my spelling test. I looked at the answers and I cheated. I can't be a Christian. Or I did this wrong, so I'm not going to be able to go to heaven. And we put it on ourselves that we have these rules that we have to follow, or else we can't be a Christian. But you know what? That's just not true. Jesus came to show us our real need, and that's Him. So I want you to say that with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Jesus came to show us our real need, Him. Now remember how Jesus healed the blind man in our Bible story? The Pharisees got mad because why? Because Jesus broke one of their rules. Isn't this Jesus we're talking about? And He healed on the Sabbath. And so they were upset with Him because He healed somebody on the Sabbath. And Jesus told them, you are more blind than he was. It wasn't that the Pharisees literally couldn't see anything, right? Jesus meant that they really couldn't see what His real mission was. And it wasn't about following rules, it's about having a relationship with Him. So when you do something wrong and you love Jesus, you know what He wants you to do? He wants you to come to Him and say, you know what, I messed up, would you please forgive me? And Jesus says, yes, I want to forgive, I will forgive you. I love you and I want to have a relationship with you. And the more we draw closer to God by reading His Bible, by praying, guess what's going to happen? Our love for Him is going to grow. And out of that love, we're going to want to continue to show Him that we love Him by pleasing Him. But that doesn't mean we're not going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. But God doesn't want us to be like, oh, I'm done, not going to heaven, right? He wants us to say, I'm sorry, God, would you please forgive me? And He says, yes, I forgive you and I love you so very much. So Jesus came to show us our real need, Him. The third point says this: following Jesus brings real life. So on the count of 3, I want you to say that with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Following Jesus brings real life. Now, real life is not about rules, the real life that we're talking about. It's not about money. It's not about fame or power. Real life is about freedom from sin and finding peace, joy, and relationship with Jesus. So we have to work on saying no to the fake. So say no to the fact that, oh my goodness, I just messed up again. I'm not going to go to heaven. Or my parents aren't going to love me anymore. No, we need to say no to the fake, because the truth is, kids and adults, if you're listening, that when you mess up, God loves you so much. He wants you to come to Him, ask for forgiveness, and move on. Now, should we work hard to obey our parents and to do things we know are right? Absolutely. But we are going to make mistakes because we're human, right? But we don't want to get worked up in, oh my goodness, I'm such a bad person, because we're not. And Jesus didn't create us to be bad people, right? He created us to have a relationship with Him, and He loves us, but He knows we're not perfect, right? So following Jesus brings real life. So we want to say no to the fake and yes to the real. How can I draw closer to you, God? Am I reading my Bible? Am I praying? Am I doing what I know is right even when it's hard? But I'm going to make mistakes, but that's okay because Jesus came to save me from that, right? So when you make Jesus your Lord and Savior, you enter into a real life with God. And that's what He has planned for us, to enter into a relationship with us and to love us no matter what. And His game plan for you is to have real life. Isn't that amazing? That always makes me feel so good when I remember that no matter what I do, Jesus still loves me. And now sometimes I have to get back on track and say, God, please forgive me, and I'm really struggling with this. Could you please help me? And every time I get tempted to do it again, I have to go to Him and say, Jesus, would you help me, because I'm struggling. I really don't want to tell the truth because I know I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, so say no to the fake. Remember that a relationship with Christ is just that, a relationship. And He loves you so very much. So I'm going to pray for you that you would say no to the fake and yes to drawing closer to Him and having real life in Him. Okay, would you pray with me? God, we thank you so much for the Bible. We thank you for everything that we can learn from the Bible on how to live our lives. We thank you for this series
game plan and what you're teaching us through that. I pray for all of us out there that are listening today that you would just put your hand upon us. God, help us to say no to the fake. Help us to remember that you are about relationship, real life. And God, it doesn't matter what we do. You love us so very much. But God, give us the courage to do what we know is right, even when it's hard. So pray for every kid and adult listening that you would remind them that you love them so very much, no matter what. We love you, Jesus. Amen. Well, I'm glad you joined me for our call to action, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay, y'all, it's time for worship, so let's all stand up and join me.
Let's sing. Shine brighter than every star in the sky. Your light shining through the dark of the night. Jesus, forever I find all that I am in your love, love, love. You are with me in every step that I take. In love for me, you would call me by name. Jesus, forever I find all that I am in your love, love, love.
Ready?
Let the music play, hear us praise your name. See the darkness fade, dance the night away. We have found our place in the Savior's grace. Dance the night away. Your love is taking over me. Yeah. I find freedom in the light of your love, everlasting. You are more than enough, Jesus, forever. I find all that I am in your love, love, love. Rio, let the music play, hear us praise your name. See the darkness fade, dance the night away. We have found our place in the Savior's grace. Dance the night away. Your love is taking over me. Your love is taking over me. I'm dancing 'cause your love has set me free. Your love is taking over me. Dance.
Ready for inhale, low. All in a roll. Ready?
All of my heart and soul, to you alone, you are the one I want now and forever. All of my heart and soul, forevermore, you are the one I want now and forever. All of my heart and soul, to you alone, you are the one I want now and forever. All of my heart and soul, forevermore, you are the one I want. Ready? Let the music play, hear us praise your name. See the darkness fade, dance the night away. We have found our place in the Savior's grace. Dance the night away. Your love is taking over me. Your love is taking over me. I'm dancing 'cause your love has set me free. Your love is taking over me.
Good job, guys. I'll see you later.
Hi. What you gotta know?
What a great lesson that we learned today about real life. I just want to continue to encourage you guys because my kids will say this to me sometimes, oh, I'm not going to go to heaven because I did this, or Jesus isn't going to love me, or you're not going to love me because I did this. And I just want you guys to know God is going to love you no matter what. He's not willing for any of us to perish. And so when we make a mistake, because we will and we're human, we just need to say, we're sorry. Would you please forgive me? And ask Jesus to help us the next time it happens, that God, He would give us the courage to do what we know is right. And to remember that anytime we make a mistake, don't be so hard on yourself. Ask Jesus to forgive you. Ask your friend to forgive you. Ask your parents to forgive you. And then next time, ask God to help you so that you can not do that again. Okay, so let's remember that as we go throughout our week, that we don't want to be about fake. We want to be about real. We don't want to follow a bunch of rules. Now, do we have rules that we have to follow? Absolutely. But we need to remember that we're human. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But Jesus wants to have a relationship with us. And he just wants us to come to him and ask for forgiveness so that he can show us how much he loves us. Okay? Well, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you later.